What's up, everybody? We are back with another video, and before we start, please put prayers for Donald Trump in the comment section. We must protect President Trump at all times. And it brings me to this video where Nancy Pelosi just ran her mouth, and now her and Kamala Harris has been in tour reportedly. And if you watch this interview that Nancy Pelosi had with Bill Maher, you won't believe what came out of this woman's mouth that Kamala Harris did not want her to say, because we already know what Kamala Harris' policies is. We know that she supports letting illegals come across the border, leaving the borders open and stuff like that. We already know that. But she did not want Nancy Pelosi spilling that and even more information about Kamala Harris' campaign. And it even had Bill Maher looking at Nancy Pelosi stupid. And you know we don't trust or like Bill Maher. But watch what Bill Maher say to her after Nancy Pelosi exposed Kamala Harris' entire campaign agenda. So like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. And without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and dive straight into this video. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Let me ask you a question. Is a little bit of consistency too much to ask for these days? I mean, for Pete's sakes, it's peak election season. You would think the Democrats would have it all figured out. They'd have their image, they'd have their messaging platform ready to go, packaged, sent and delivered. But all I'm seeing is constant contradictions and hypocrisy.
Yep.
Of course, we know the Democrat track record on the issue of the southern border. Democrats have essentially opened the border, plunging the country into total crisis and chaos. Oh, nothing to see here, folks. Just violent Venezuelan gangs taking over entire buildings and neighborhoods. That's obviously been their track record. No human is illegal, as Kamala has said a million times. Illegal migrants are not criminals. Of course, they went from that to now attempting to be border hawks. Kamala Harris changing her tune.
My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border.
Kamala's even talking about building Trump's border wall, or at least continuing to build Trump's border wall. So they were open border, now they're border hawks. It's all so confusing, and now it gets even more confusing as Nancy Pelosi decides to chime in on Bill Maher's show, where she essentially says the quiet part out loud. Amnesty for all illegal migrants. Holy frickin' moly, you could not create more dishonest people, even if given access to a heavenly lab that creates human beings from scratch. It's freaking unbelievable. The Democrats are lying to you, and their actual plans, well, it's pretty obvious what they actually intend. Let's have a conversation about that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So obviously I was suggesting that there's confusion, although there really isn't. There's certainly inconsistency in the messaging, but nobody's confused. We know exactly what the Democrats are up to and what they're trying to do. And like I always say, don't take my word for it. Just listen to the words coming out of their own mouths. Here's Nancy Pelosi finally admitting the truth.
The California lawmakers just passed a law. It hasn't been signed by Governor Newsom, but giving government assistance to undocumented immigrants to buy houses.
Wow.
That's kind of a different place than the Democratic Party used to be on immigration, is it not? I'm not going to say that's what the country's going to do, but that's certainly where California is.
Well, let me just say, immigration had always been a bipartisan issue. I refer you to
But not free houses.
Well, that's not free housing. It's the American dream being available to more people. But
wow.
Understand this about immigration. The best speech on immigration was by President Ronald Reagan. This is the last speech I will make as President of the United States. I want to communicate a message to the country I love. And he talked about the Statue of Liberty and the beacon of hope it is to the world, and what America was preeminent in the world because our door was always open, and we will cease to be preeminent when we shut the door. Now, I don't do justice to the great communicator. Google it. It's a fabulous speech. And George Herbert Walker Bush continued in that respect for the diversity of America and the rest. California's always in the lead. Maybe others will follow that lead, but that's up to those states. But we're very blessed here with beautiful diversity.
So you'd vote for this law?
Excuse me?
So you'd vote for this law?
Well, I'm not familiar with exactly what it is, but making the American dream of home ownership available to all people is something we have to do for people who are here now.
This is before you were a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented.
Wow.
Move them to documented. One of the best things that we can do for our economy is to pass comprehensive immigration reform.
Now, we've been talking about this for a long time, that this is exactly what the Democrats are up to. And for years and years and years, they've called us kooky, deranged conspiracy theorists. They've called us liars. We're lying. No Democrat has ever suggested that. We don't want to import millions of new loyal voters. We just want to grant amnesty to all illegal migrants. Give me a frickin' break. It's the exact same thing. It's clear that the Democrats are pursuing an aggressive and deliberate agenda to fundamentally change the American electoral landscape. And of course, they want to do that through their immigration policies. They aren't just championing compassionate policies for the sake of humanitarianism. That's just the marketing shtick. They're playing a long con to reshape the American electorate by importing a new loyal voter base. I mean, we spoke about this not too long ago. I think Joe Rogan was going on about this.
But look at New York City. When Cuomo was explaining how New York City literally has a mandate to house its homeless. And that was supposed to be the people that lived there that were down on their luck. And now it's people that have come in from other cities or other countries rather, illegally. And they're trying to make it so that those people can vote. And you see what they're doing with people from Venezuela?
Crazy.
And that's exactly what they're doing, trying to make it for where those people, because I told you before, Kamala Harris, they want them illegals to be able to vote for them. That's why you see this dumb stuff Nancy Pelosi is saying, trying to get them illegals money, put them in new houses and all type of that. What about the people that is here already struggling? What about helping these people that is here, not illegals that's coming across the border illegally? And you just want to put them in houses. You know why? Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, that's what they support, like I said before, because they want these people, these illegals, to vote for them. Like Nancy Pelosi just admitted everything Kamala Harris and her campaign is trying to do. But then Kamala, she'll get on camera and she'll sit here and lie in front of the American people. Because like I said, Dana Bash gave her softball questions. She didn't kind of go back and forth with her, because if you look at the difference of the interview when Dana Bash interviewed J.D. Vance, look how she was kind of questioning everything J.D. Vance said. She had a comeback for him. But with Kamala Harris, she barely even said anything back. She just let Kamala Harris run with those lies. And we know that women love leaving the border open. Now we see exactly what they're doing. Leaving the border open on purpose. Talking about Kamala Harris talking about she's trying to build a wall. No, she's not. Kamala Harris is telling the American people what they want to hear, just so you can vote for her. And if she get put back in, just like she said, her values haven't changed. Because she know once she's back in the White House, she can care less about how anybody feel. Because she'll be president. And she don't care what people is going to say. Right now, she's going to say everything in her power. That's the reason why she went to line about, she talking about banning fracking. Now all of a sudden, she don't want to do it. Because Dana Bash helped her out with that question. This is what Dana Bash said. Dana Bash said, now, Kamala, you know you're going to need Pennsylvania. Is you still going to ban fracking? Like, why did she do that? She should have just came straight out and say, is you still going to ban fracking? She pretty much helped her out because you knew Kamala wasn't going to say yes when she just said, you know you're going to need Pennsylvania, and is you still going to ban fracking? Like this stuff is crazy. Trying to let illegals come in here, trying to put them in houses. They already taking up hotels and stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. These people are corrupt, and that's the reason why we have to put Donald Trump back in the White House. This is crazy.
They're sending people back from Venezuela?
Only from Venezuela.
Yeah, because Venezuela opposes socialism, so they're not going to vote Democratic.
Yeah.
They don't want those people.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
It's crazy how it's so odd. Like when you start thinking about it like that, That sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's like totally political, all these moves.
100%.
Yeah.
They're literally importing Democratic voters.
Yeah.
They think by allowing the borders to be porous and by giving people aid and giving people housing that you're essentially guaranteeing that if you can rig it so that those people are allowed to vote,
you heard what Joe Rogan said. That's what they're trying to do. That's what Nancy Pelosi them trying to do. They trying to give money, give houses, aid, everything to the illegals because they count on them illegals to vote for them. That's why they doing this crap. That's the reason why I say Kamala Harris is lying about closing the border. She does not want to close the border. Remember, Donald Trump said he was nearly sued 11 times and that Kamala Harris' name was on every lawsuit. He said that. Like, come on, man. Who would sit up here and believe this woman? She's a liar. She's going to tell you everything you want to hear because she needs your vote.
those people are going to vote Democratic.
And again, the left said he's crazy, he's a conspiracy theorist, he's an alt-right extremist. But then Nancy Pelosi comes on air and essentially confirms the whole thing.
Yep.
I mean, for decades, Democrats have been doing this. They've been pushing policies that effectively open the southern border, decriminalize illegal migration. They treat every single migrant as an asylum seeker. It's totally absurd. They incentivize migrants to cross into the United States without following the legal process. And all the while, they blame Donald Trump and climate change for the southern border. No. You know what's to blame for the crisis at the southern border? Literally what Nancy Pelosi just said. You don't need a border security bill that spends billions of dollars hiring new judges and expanding the asylum process so more people can attempt to fraud the system. All you need to do is stop promising free crap. It's one thing to promise free healthcare for migrants.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
It's another thing to accept people in your sanctuary cities or to give illegal migrants driver's licenses, the ability to work, the ability to rent and purchase homes. I mean, for Pete's sakes, California is now considering $150,000 government subsidized home
That is crazy. California bill would allow undocumented immigrants paying taxes to get home loans. They came in here illegally, not legally, illegally. This right here is the reason why I said we cannot put this. I'm telling you, Kamala Harris is going to destroy this country. This woman cannot fight back against Putin or anybody else. She has no knowledge. She's a liar. That's why when she did that interview, she kept looking down, looking around. I don't know if she was looking at notes or whatever the case may be. The only time she really paid attention to Dana Bash when she was asking her questions and when she was speaking about Joe Biden and what the phone call meant, what was you doing when Joe Biden called you? Oh, she was all smiles then. But when you get to talking about them policies, she was looking around, had black rings around her eyes, looked like she ain't slept in days. Like, come on.
purchasing loans for illegal migrants. I mean, as if all of that wasn't enough. No, Nancy Pelosi is now promising people citizenship.
This is before you were a citizen. This is undocumented. This is for the undocumented.
Well, what I would like to do is move them to documented.
That's the biggest prize of all. That's what everyone's looking for. And here we got the Democrat Party offering the biggest freebie of all. What do you think's gonna follow? A frickin' migrant caravan, because this is what the cartels do. They'll take this clip from Nancy Pelosi and they'll send it.
Why isn't Nancy Pelosi in jail for this crap? This is the person that should be in courtrooms. This woman right here should be in courtrooms, constantly lying about J6, about Donald Trump and stuff like that. I mean, come on. This woman done lied so much. How in the world is she not in jail? Why they running around calling Donald Trump a convicted felon and stuff when she should have been a convicted felon? Hillary Clinton should have been one. Bill Clinton, all of them.
far and wide as a marketing shtick on Instagram and Facebook and other places, and they'll advertise their services $10,000, $20,000, sometimes $30,000, depending on where you come from. I heard that was the going rate for Chinese migrants being smuggled through the southern border port of entry. You got these cartels selling their services for tens of thousands of dollars, in many cases to unsuspecting victims, using this clip of Nancy Pelosi as the basis for it all. They're causing this crisis, and it's all done by design because they want to bring in more tens of millions of illegal migrants working in the shadows across the nation with the hopes that one day, through the signing of a paper, they're going to grant all of these people amnesty and put them on a path towards citizenship. What do you think that's going to do? All of a sudden, you have 30 million people.
You know how many people is going to be in this country, these illegal aliens? You know how many of them going to be in this country if Kamala Harris get voted in as president? Our world is going to be upside down. Won't be no jobs for our children because these illegal immigrants going to pretty much take over because Kamala Harris is leaving the border open, and Nancy Pelosi just said the quiet part out loud. I mean, we knew this with Kamala Harris, them support, but she get on camera and she lie. And don't you realize every interview Nancy Pelosi about dude like she shows up drunk all the time? She just look like she's out of it. Eyes all watery, shaking and stuff. She just looked like she's out of it.
People who are undocumented magically getting granted visas and green cards, possibly even passports, I'd assume, for the DACA recipients. 30 million people who now owe their citizenship to the Democrat Party. What do you think that's going to do? That creates a loyal voter base. All of a sudden, Republicans will never be able to win an election ever again. But anyway.
Exactly. It'll be hard for them to win because the illegals, they going to keep voting for Democrats because the Democrats giving them everything. For one, the Democrats is letting them come across the border illegally. They won't go to jail. Nothing won't happen to them. They putting them in houses, giving them money, taking care of them. So it'll make it hard for a Republican to win because Donald Trump is not going to allow that. He said you can come across the border, but you're going to come legally, not illegally. Democrats want you to come illegally. That's why they're doing this crap so they can stay in power. And they know more people, more illegal immigrants will vote for them if they continue to do this. It just this is what they do to cheat, to try to remain in power.
Look, one thing is clear here, and really I think it's the only relevant takeaway. These Democrats are obviously liars, and they're obviously hell-bent on power. And think about those two concepts in conjunction. You know, power-hungry liar isn't exactly the first thing that comes to mind when I think of leadership qualities. These Democrats are only consistent in one thing and one thing alone, and that's saying and doing whatever they gotta do or say to get elected to positions of power. Nancy Pelosi finally reveals the truth that we've been called deranged, kooky conspiracy theorists for clearly pointing out. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you.
There we go, right there. Salute to Liberal High Mind. Make sure y'all go over, subscribe to his channel. Great content creator, always keeping us up to date with everything that's going on. But obviously, like I said before, Nancy Pelosi said the quiet part out loud, pretty much exposed Kamala Harris' entire campaign on what they're trying to do, leaving the border open when she lied about she's trying to close the border, which she's not. She's in office now, she can do that, and she still haven't done it. This just let you know she is a liar, and Nancy Pelosi just told everything. So, like I said before, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.